And although this is one of the more fun Proud Family episodes, it still showed that in the end, fame and fortune isn't everything.
If we were such good friends, you wouldn't be hating so hard. I want to play with my old friends, not these fake ones the wizard hired. They do everything I say. If it wasn't for Tony.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back in. I'm back with another Proud Family analysis video. And this is going to be on one of the most fun episodes that I can remember. And it's, when I say fun episodes, I mean it's an episode that's not so heavy on like a political message, a societal message, like, oh, like racism, this, that, you know what I'm saying? The thing I liked about this episode is that it featured original music. And you know, they had the group LPDZ, where they were a group, a singing group. And some of the original songs in the Proud Family, I must say, are really catchy. Like, if they were a real group, you know, with some real songs at that time, they would have had a nice little run. This episode was called A Star Is Scorned. You know, a parody of A Star Is Born. Another fun fact about this episode is that it premiered 21 years ago on my birthday, September 27th, which just adds to my liking to the episode. This episode, they have the group, right? But Penny is seen as the favorite one. She's picked out as the favorite. She goes solo, and that has a whole lot of complications with it. And with this video, it's going to be like an episode review, episode analysis, and I'm only going to go over the key points of the episode, so it's not so long and dragged out. And I want to know your opinion, your thoughts, and you know, just one of the more fun episodes, like I said, but it still had a message in it, and I want to know what y'all got out of this. So the episode starts out with LPDZ, Penny and her friends, performing at a talent show, and they sound really good.
Never have to pretend, because I know you are my best friend. We are best friends.
Even to the point where they go backstage with their family and everything, right? And Wizard Kelly, of all people, wants to sign him to his record label. Being the opportunist, being the capitalist that he is, his video is coming soon. He wants to sign them to his label, and they all agree.
Can y'all say record deal?
Record deal.
Now, Uncle Bobby was the one that helped them with the demo, helped them with the song. He brings Oscar along to, you know, be one of the business managers. But as you know, there's this beef between Wizard Kelly and Oscar. So as they get to the meeting, Oscar gets thrown out, and Felix, his best friend and next door neighbor, Lacienga's father, gets brought in.
As the group's business manager, I need to take a look at this. I want to make sure ain't no hanky-panky going on. Felix is your business manager? When did that happen? The Bobby! Penny! Sticky! You can't let them do this to me! No!
But the trick is, I like what this episode is, it was a fun parody of like the way the music business and music industry works, because you see Wizard Kelly kind of tricked them into signing an ambiguously worded contract.
Do you mind signing this 8-track tape and this ambiguously worded contract?
Because with the music industry, you hear so many stories about artists getting screwed over, this, that, the record label screwing them over. They made millions, but they're only left with thousands.
You think you know? You have no idea.
3 years after they had hit records on the radio, all over TV, they're broke or they're working 9-to-5 jobs. Nothing wrong with that, but when you had such fame, such success, people be like, what happened? The record label screwed them over. I mean, didn't Left Eye from TLC tell us this?
Trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
Not only did Oscar, Penny's father, get thrown out, so did Sticky and Michael, who were like helping them.
They need me. I'm the group's choreographer.
Not really, son.
That just goes to show how cutthroat the music industry is. Like I said, this is a cartoon, it was animation, and you could think of it as just like a little fun, whatever, but this was like real stuff. But they did it through animation, and it was just fun to watch. So as they finally sign a record deal together, Wizard Kelly tells them, before y'all really start seeing the real money, y'all gotta do this, you gotta do that, and you gotta do this. Basically like touring all around the country to his malls, his shops, his stores, you know, where he's gonna make most of the money. They gotta do these extensive tours. That remind you of like the whole 2000s era, but you know, Destiny's Child, Insane, Britney Spears. They were touring all over the malls and stores and amusement parks.
Tour across the country to all the Wizards' many restaurants, theaters, and amusement parks.
So everything is going good. The group is performing all around the country, right? Their single is moving up the charts, but one televised show one event, Penny is all of a sudden seen as a favorite. She's seen as the highlight, the best one out of the group.
There's nothing like family.
Best friends! She's the star.
Nothing like a smiling face. Never have to pretend.
This favoritism is reflected when the fans start showing more appreciation, more attention to Penny, and the other ones are just shunned to the background.
Penny!
Over time, you see this boosts Penny head up, and it boosts her ego. She becomes a diva.
You think you're all that, don't you, Proud? All that. I've been carrying this group for the last 2 weeks. She's a real weird. Y'all get on my nerves.
You can see now how highly she thinks of herself now, and how she feels like the other group members, her friends, are beneath her.
Rude.
And is it me? They didn't directly say it. They didn't even mention her name, but I feel like they modeled her look in this scene after Aaliyah. Like, that's why I wore this tank top. Like, from the look, the outfit, the hair, the glasses. I feel like they really modeled her look after Aaliyah here, but they didn't really, like, say it. But we could all see it.
Don't listen to her, Panay. She's young.
Penny!
So, Penny, or Penay, and the other girls are arguing back and forth. And after a while, Wizard Kelly gets the idea to just ask them, cut them out, make Penny a solo artist, since she was seen as their favorite one. Another thing with the music industry, you can start out in a group, y'all could become friends, become so successful, one of y'all become the favorite behind the scenes or in front of their face. That selected one, the favorite one, the one that's doing the most, right? They get the solo deal. The other ones are just seen as glorified background singers. And then they had her name changed to Penay. Don't that remind you of a certain artist? Don't that remind you of a certain group? I don't know. Penay, Beyonce.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
Or Beyonce, I'm just saying. Sometimes with the music industry, with the business, with fame and fortune, comes those hard decisions of like breaking up those friendships, those family relationships. The business doesn't care about personal relationships. It cares about making money. The other three were seen as a liability. Penny was the one making the money. Penny was seen as a favorite. So there was no need for the other three. And that broke up whatever friendship they had. And I liked how, even though Penny was acting like a diva here, she had to put La Cienega in her place.
I thought we were best friends. We have never been best friends, La Cienega.
So after this, we see Penay become a big solo artist. She becomes a big star. She does this performance. And like I said before, the original music for this episode was dope. Like, I could see this being like some real hits.
So don't hate.
But y'all hear the song, right? It's all about me. She has become a diva, egotistical, self-centered, and basically a narcissist, neglecting her friends, her family, like her father. And let's not to mention Oscar. Oscar is at home living like a caveman. And that just goes to show like how much he depended on his family and Trudy, because without them, this is how he living.
I don't need all those things Trudy used to do for me.
Oh my God.
So as Penay is blowing up, she's becoming a bigger star. Of course, her friends are becoming jealous, especially La Cienega.
Ooh, I can't stand her.
And you see them even plotting against her, trying to take her down in her biggest moments.
On 3, we get her. You're Nieta.
Time has moved on, time has passed, and Penny has built up enough wealth to get her own car, get a nice new house, and everyone moves in it except for Oscar. But here's the thing, at the house, she's playing ping pong with this girl who is basically acting like her minion.
It's served, Penay. You win again. Would you like to beat me at pool now? What's your name?
Where the fuck you even come from, bitch? Who are you? Who?
Wizard Kelly hired this girl to play with Penny as like her fake friend, who's gonna just let her do whatever she wants to her. You know, she don't have the real friends around her. Her real friends that got kicked out the group. So now Wizard Kelly hired these fake friends that's just gonna let her win, let her do whatever they want to her, just for her to feel like more egotistical than she already is. But this is where we get that classic sugar mama line, where Penny talks about, oh, she want her real friends back, and sugar mama is like,
you don't need them anyway, especially that little Dijon girl. She's faker than your fake friend.
Penny then complains to Trudy about wanting her old life back, wanting her old friends back, and Trudy, you know, being the voice of reason, is like, da-da-da-da-da-da. But you notice something, right?
It's your husband.
What now? Just take a message.
The phone rings, and it's Oscar. Trudy has this standoffish attitude, like, whatever, tell him to call back. And then Penny kind of like steps back, and she realizes, like all of this fame and fortune is even changing my mother. So yeah, I definitely gotta do something about this.
Tell him I stepped out or something. Now, what were we talking about, baby?
Penny gets called to do a parody of the Glitter movie with Mariah Carey called Glimmer, where it tells the story of her life. And it's just like, you see how with the record label, with the music industry, entertainment industry, Penny just blew up. She just became successful, but then they want her in movies. They want to do this, they want to do that. Like, all of a sudden, you get thrown to all these different things, and life just flashes before your eyes, and you just getting thrown and pulled in all different directions, don't know what's going on. They hire some obviously fake lookalikes to play Penny's friends and to play Uncle Bobby, and in the middle of doing it, Penny is supposed to act like, you know, herself, but then she realizes through the acting how she really treated her friends and her family and her father, and she storms off the set, going to Wizard Kelly, trying to quit the whole business.
I was never your compadre, Pico. But we've been best friends forever. I can't play this part. Who would treat their friends like this? My fans will hate me.
Glimmer is the story of your life.
Penny, where are you going?
I'm off to see the wizard.
But as the music industry goes, it's not that easy to be let go. Wizard Kelly doesn't let her off the hook that easy, because Penny is like, oh, okay, I quit. Okay, I'll take my money now, and la da da. And Wizard Kelly is like,
So the music video, travel, hairstylist, makeup person, wardrobe.
After all the fame and success and touring and this and that and all the hits that Penny has had on Wizard Kelly's record label, she only ends up leaving with
$10.
No, 9.
And that's another thing with the music industry. Unless you become a huge successful artist like a Michael Jackson, a Beyonce, a Lady Gaga, Rihanna, you know what I'm saying, Madonna, unless you become such a huge artist like them, Britney Spears, you're basically in debt to the record label, to the music industry, to the entertainment industry. And the only way to get yourself out of that debt is to become so successful that you actually start making profits for yourself. Not just the label, where they paying for everything. You make enough money that you can see some profits for yourself to live comfortably, to live lavishly without being like, you know, you go 1 year without a hit and all of a sudden you got to downsize and then you disappear and nobody ever hears from you again.
DNA has been dropped from their label.
This was an animated cartoon. This was Disney Channel 20 plus years ago. They can only go so deep with this, but those of us that know the music industry, we know the business, or we know of it because, you know, we're not actually in it, but we study it, we know it. You hear the stories, you know the stories of the music industry, and what some artists had to go through. You know that that's just how it is. You see these artists, they become so successful. You hear them on the radio, they got hit after hit, music videos all over TV. You watch all the interviews, they're all over the magazine covers. But then, they're not really living lavishly. They're not really living that lifestyle you think they are.
You think you know, you have no idea.
Not to mention, before this, with Penny missing her friends, she drives through her old neighborhood, you know, the house where they lived, and she sees the kids just out on the street having fun. That's what she missed. The life she was living now was full of fake friends and like opportunists, and it just felt forced. It wasn't real. It wasn't authentic. It was just this forced lifestyle placed upon her because she was Penny, the solo artist, the star. She missed that authenticity of being a kid. Because that's another thing. At the end of the day, she was still a kid. And that's one of the main things I took away from this episode. How many times when we were young, we looked at these Disney Channel stars and Nickelodeon stars and these music artists and this and that. And nowadays, the kids and teenagers got like these social media stars. And we like thought about like, what if that was me? Like, what if I was that famous? What if I was this? What if I was that? What if I was living like them? It's not all it's cracked up to be.
You can't fire us. We have a contract.
Not anymore.
This is one of those episodes where it was fun. It was, we got the music, we got this, we got that. But I feel like the major message with this is fame and fortune is nice. Who wouldn't want it? But it's not all it's cracked up to be. Especially the fame. The fortune, I'll keep that. This is why I say to myself all the time, I would rather be rich and unknown than famous and broke. Because with fame comes all these complications, and then sometimes it don't even really be worth it because they don't even really be making money like that.
And in the record business, we pay all costs back to the record company. And what am I gonna pay my bills with?
So the episode ends with Penny trying to get back with her friends, and of course they kind of standoffish to her, they kind of teasing her, and they don't even really believe that she gave up all of that money and fame and fortune just to be back with them until Sugar Mama confirms it.
Did y'all hear something? No, we don't see anything either. You gave it all up for us? Yeah, I say too bad. There's really no reason to hang out with Janelle.
She did it. Penny gave up her fame and her name just to be with you, her friends.
Then they all want to come together and be friends and hug. But the thing with this is, knowing how phony and fake her friends are, especially Dejanay, like Sugar Mama said earlier, Dejanay would not have given up that money and fame. She even made a joke about it, but knowing Dejanay, she was telling the truth.
Oh, I missed you guys. Missed you too. If it was me with all that fame and money, I would have never given it up.
Having success doesn't mean everything if you can't take everyone with you. But Penny gave all of this up for her fake and phony friends who weren't the best to her anyway. So that's the only thing where I'm like, damn, Dejanay would have left all of y'all and then had a new life with new friends, and y'all would have been history to her. That's the Proud family. That's the way they had Penny. That's the dynamic of their friendship. So with that, I just want to say that this was one of my favorite episodes. It was one of those fun episodes that still had that message, that still had like a moral to it. And like I said, the Proud family, I love their original songs. Like, I know there was like a soundtrack album, but if these songs were real, they would have been some nice hits. Besides the message, if you really paid attention, it was a quick parody and like a real satire of how the music industry is. And I want to know, what were y'all takeaways from this episode? Like, when y'all watched it, when y'all rewatch it now as adults, like, what were y'all takeaways from this episode? Do you think Penny was in the wrong to go solo? And how did you feel when she gave it all up to go back to these friends of hers? Like, we all talk about weren't the best for her anyway. Please let me know your thoughts down below. This should be a really fun discussion because I know the last few topics have been really heavy with the subject matter, but this should be a really fun episode to discuss and talk about. I can't wait to read your comments. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.